Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Art to Music. So this is the series where I try to compose a song based on a piece of art. So in this one, I've got a piece from John William Waterhouse, who was a British artist from the late 19th century. And I've got one of his pieces called The Lady of Shalott. All right, so looking at the piece first, I definitely see kind of a minimal, quiet, elegant, but like sad mood. So for this one, I've decided to pick just a single piano. And so I picked the Native Instruments Maverick piano, which sounds like this. And I've made it a little bit brighter and added some convolution reverb to mimic like a concert hall. So I'm gonna sort of balance things between kind of a minor and major key. So I'm just gonna noodle around and look at the painting and see if it evokes any kind of emotion initially. So as I was noodling around, I first started trying things in purely a minor key. Which kind of fits the mood because it is sort of dark, but the more I listened to it, the more I felt like a purely minor theme didn't really fit it too much. So I wanted something a little more with a slight edge to it. So then I moved over to playing something in C with using the major seventh note, so the B and the C, which gives it this nice kind of dreamy feel to it. Which is definitely has that like Debussy flavor to it. So it's not totally sad, but it's not really happy either. It's in this kind of dream state, which I feel like fits this. And definitely like a slow tempo and very sparse music, I think fits this because I get a very relaxing feel from it. I don't know if you agree, especially the canoe, the water, the way her arm is kind of gently resting. It feels like everything is like smooth and calm, but like she's sad along the way. So now it's just a matter of noodling around to see if I can find a melody that resonates with me. For some reason, a waltz sticks out to me, or something in 3/4 time. I like that at the beginning. So just playing a simple riff in the left hand. So like playing the sixth and the fifth. And then starting with the major seventh as the first note. So there I need to find another chord. So let's see what would make sense there. That could work, sort of playing like a sus E minor, or basically maintaining these two notes, but switching from a C to an E root. Alright, so I kind of like where this is going, so... Try playing it higher. Yeah, so the more I'm playing this melody, the more I don't really like it anymore. It's just very like generic. I don't know. There's something about it that makes me feel like it's part of like a cheesy soap opera or something. So I'm gonna try to cleanse my palette and maybe come up with something completely different. Let's try something sparse and maybe going back to that minor. So I'm gonna try to really channel this piece and kind of stare at it and try not to think too much about the music and just focus purely on the emotion of the piece. I'm gonna try to stare into her eyes and try to capture what she's feeling. All right, that I liked quite a bit. So it could just be an illusion because oftentimes when I am improvising something, I feel like it sounds better than it actually is because I'm the one playing it. But then when I listen back to it, I find that it's not as good. So I'm gonna try to listen back to that and see. Yeah, I think that works. Let me see if I can maybe find another reverb. So I'm using the reverbs that are built into the Maverick plugin here. Let's try the chamber music hall. All right, so I feel like now that I've listened back to it, I kind of like the general mood of it, but I feel like maybe it was staying too long on that G, which starts to sound a little bit annoying. I also need to be careful not to over analyze and over think it, because I feel like if I try to replicate it too much and try to re-rehearse it, it'll lose some of that initial kind of emotion from it. Because the first pass because I was improvising, I wasn't sure where I was gonna go, so I was a little more conservative in terms of changing, which is probably why I stayed a little too long on one side. But now that I generally know the path I can take, so if you're curious, the path I was taking is I basically started off with a C minor triad. So I was in C minor just holding the fifth and then just traversing down while holding the fifth diatonically in C minor. And then switching over to the second chord, which is an E flat major. Actually, no, I didn't go to E flat. I went to the A flat. So I stayed in C minor. Then we transitioned into here, and then I modulated to the dominant key, so into G minor, playing the same kind of thing. So droning on the fifth, and then moving down diatonically. So I was in C minor, so droning the G, and then modulated into the dominant, which is a common, usually key transposition. And in that case, I was holding the D, which was the fifth of the G minor. And same thing going down diatonically in G minor. And similarly going to the sixth of the scale, so E flat in this case. So it's basically we're in C minor, so we're playing C minor, A flat, and then we transpose to G minor, E flat. So I'm gonna try to re-record that. I may actually end up keeping the original performance just because it was more raw. But I'm gonna try to duplicate it and maybe make it more compact and switch over more quickly. So let me hit record again, and I'm just gonna stare at the painting and stare into her eyes and try to kind of channel. All right, so I think that one was a little better, not perfect. Yeah, so one element I was thinking of also as I was playing it, because of like the story behind the painting of how she's kind of on this journey, but she'll never quite make it, I wanted to both keep a sense of unsureness, if that's a word, by keeping the rhythm slightly unsteady. So you probably have noticed that I wasn't very kind of robotic, but it was more like the rhythm was kind of going in and out. Like you're sort of like tripping a little bit. And also I wanted to, in the first line I was playing, instead of going all the way down to C, which would have kind of resolved it immediately, I sort of went back into the minor third. So it's kind of this like unresolved journey. And then we go to the sixth, which gives us a little bit of hope. And I think this flows well with the kind of water, because like the surrounding around the painting is positive and relaxing and calm and happy, but she's like in this negative space, like the boat around her. I'm probably reading into it too much, but so that's kind of like going into the major and then back to the minor, and then switching over to the G minor. All right, so I'm gonna leave it there. Hopefully this was entertaining. I wanted to keep this super minimal. I don't want to involve any kind of orchestra. I feel like for this piece, just the simple piano suits the kind of romantic feeling. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.